The hidden fish that could be destroying your health after 60. If you're over 60, I need you to hear this, because it might change how you eat forever. Every 10 seconds in the US, a senior is hospitalized due to a food-related illness. Not from overeating, and not from food allergies, but from everyday fish most people assume are healthy. The truth is, several common types of fish are quietly poisoning your system, accelerating brain aging, and increasing your risk of heart attacks, without you even realizing it. A groundbreaking 2024 study revealed that older adults who frequently ate high-toxin fish had a staggering 70% higher risk of sudden memory loss and cardiac events. That's not a theory, it's real data, backed by peer-reviewed science. And here's what's truly shocking: the worst offender? It's not some exotic fish you've never heard of. It's one that many seniors eat every single week, thinking it's good for them. On the flip side, there are also fish that work like medicine for your brain, your heart, and your future. 5 powerhouse choices that can lower your disease risk, boost your memory, reduce inflammation, and even help you live longer. But here's the kicker: nearly 99% of seniors have no idea which fish to avoid, or which ones to eat more of. That's why we're making it crystal clear in today's video. We're breaking down the 5 most dangerous fish for older adults, ranked from least to most toxic. Then we'll show you the 5 best fish for healing and healthy aging, also ranked, with exact benefits and how to use them. So if you care about your brain, your independence, and your future health, stick with me. Because your next trip to the seafood counter could be either the best thing you do for your body, or the start of silent damage that builds with every bite. Why swordfish could be one of the most dangerous foods for seniors over 60. Let's talk about a fish that looks impressive on your plate, but might be quietly harming your brain and heart: swordfish. Now, I get it, swordfish feels like a premium choice. It's thick, meaty, and often featured on upscale menus. But if you're over 60, this is one fish you should avoid at all costs. Here's why. Swordfish is an apex predator, meaning it lives a long time and eats hundreds of smaller fish over the years. The problem? It also absorbs the toxins inside those fish, especially mercury. And unlike younger adults, seniors process and eliminate mercury much more slowly. That means mercury builds up in your system faster and stays longer. Even low levels of mercury exposure have been linked to memory loss, depression, fatigue, muscle weakness, kidney damage, and early onset dementia. And it doesn't stop there. A 2023 study published in Neurology Today found that seniors with the highest blood mercury levels had a 38% higher risk of developing dementia in just 5 years. And here's the part that's truly alarming. Many swordfish steaks sold in the US contain mercury levels 2 to 3 times higher than the FDA's own safety limits. That means a single portion, just one dinner, can already exceed your recommended weekly intake. But the damage isn't just in the brain. Mercury also harms your cardiovascular system. It inflames blood vessels, raises blood pressure, and increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, all of which are already higher in older adults. So if you see swordfish on the menu, don't just skip it, run the other way. Because every bite could be silently eroding your memory, weakening your heart, and accelerating the aging process without you even noticing. Why farmed tilapia could be wrecking your health after 60. It's often seen as a light or healthy protein, but if you're over 60, farmed tilapia may be one of the most deceptive and dangerous foods on your plate. Here's what most people don't know: over 80% of the world's tilapia comes from overcrowded, polluted fish farms, mainly in China and Southeast Asia. These fish are raised in stagnant water, fed cheap industrial feed made from corn and soy, not their natural aquatic diet, and often pumped full of antibiotics, hormones, and even chemicals banned in many countries, all just to keep them alive long enough to sell. But the real danger isn't just what's in the fish, it's what happens after you eat it. Farmed tilapia has a shockingly high ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, exactly the opposite of what your aging body needs. It's particularly rich in arachidonic acid, a fat that's been proven to trigger chronic inflammation. And inflammation is at the root of nearly every major disease we fear as we age: arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, even cancer. A study from Wake Forest University found that eating farmed tilapia actually caused a stronger inflammatory response than bacon or donuts. Think about that. What's marketed as a heart-healthy fish might be more harmful than junk food. Chronic inflammation also accelerates biological aging. One 2022 study found that seniors with high inflammatory markers aged up to 9 years faster than their peers. That means more memory loss, weaker muscles, higher blood pressure, and greater risk of hospitalization or early death. So if you value your memory, your mobility, and your future, it may be time to scratch farmed tilapia off your grocery list for good. There are better fish choices out there, and we'll get to those soon. The hidden dangers of king mackerel after 60, a toxic fish disguised as healthy. At first glance, king mackerel seems like a smart choice. It's lean, flavorful, and often recommended as part of a seafood-rich diet. But for anyone over 60, this particular fish could be silently damaging your brain, your heart, and your future health. Here's why. King mackerel is a large, long-living predator fish, and just like swordfish, it sits high on the ocean's food chain, meaning it consumes a lot of smaller fish. And with them, absorbs massive amounts of mercury. In fact, according to the latest FDA and EPA seafood advisories, king mackerel ranks among the most mercury-contaminated fish ever tested, often higher than swordfish. And that mercury doesn't just pass through your system. In seniors, it lingers, building up over time in the brain, kidneys, and cardiovascular system. One of the first places it strikes? The myelin sheath, the protective insulation around your brain's nerve fibers. Damage here leads to slower thinking, memory lapses, tremors, and in advanced cases, brain shrinkage and irreversible cognitive decline. A 2024 clinical study published in Brain Health Journal showed that seniors with elevated mercury levels had up to 50% more brain shrinkage than those with low levels. That's not just forgetting where you put your keys, it's the beginning of losing independence. And the heart isn't safe either. Mercury promotes oxidative stress, stiffens arteries, and raises blood pressure. In one major longitudinal study, older adults with the highest mercury exposure had a 70% greater risk of heart attack or stroke. This isn't fearmongering, it's a biological reality. And the FDA now classifies king mackerel as one of the most dangerous fish for seniors, pregnant women, and children. So if king mackerel is still part of your weekly routine, even just occasionally, it's time to stop. There are safer, cleaner, and more nourishing alternatives we'll explore next. But this one needs to go. The shocking truth about farmed Atlantic salmon, why seniors should stay away. If you've been eating salmon because it's heart-healthy and brain-boosting, you're not alone. But here's a critical distinction. Not all salmon is created equal, and for seniors, farmed Atlantic salmon could be doing far more harm than good. Let's break it down. Farmed Atlantic salmon are raised in crowded, often disease-ridden pens. To keep them alive, producers rely heavily on antibiotics, pesticides, and even synthetic color additives to make the salmon look pink and healthy, when in reality, the flesh would be dull gray without them. What's more concerning is what's inside that pink flesh. Multiple studies, including a massive 2023 Norwegian analysis, have found that farmed Atlantic salmon contain significantly higher levels of toxic substances like PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, and dioxins, industrial chemicals linked to cancer, immune system suppression, and accelerated cellular aging. Your body already slows down its detox process as you age. So when you eat farmed salmon, these toxins stick around longer, doing silent damage to your organs, your cells, and even your DNA. But that's not all. The fat profile in farmed salmon is deeply skewed. Instead of being rich in clean omega-3s like wild salmon, farmed varieties are packed with inflammatory omega-6 fats. Chronic inflammation has been tied to heart disease, arthritis, obesity, memory loss, and more. And for older adults, it speeds up everything from joint degeneration to cognitive decline. Here's a stat you shouldn't ignore. Eating just 2 servings of farmed Atlantic salmon per month can increase your lifetime cancer risk by 25%, according to the Environmental Working Group. So ask yourself this. Is the salmon in your freezer helping you age better, or accelerating the process without your knowledge? The good news? You have better options, safer, cleaner, truly nourishing fish. We'll talk about those next. But for now, if your salmon isn't wild caught, it might be time to rethink what's on your plate. Why big eye tuna could be the most misunderstood threat on your plate after 60. You've probably heard that tuna is a lean protein, great for your heart and brain. And in many cases, that's true, but not all tuna is safe. Especially for seniors. One type in particular, big eye tuna, also known as ahi tuna, carries a hidden danger that could quietly harm your memory, heart, and long-term health. Big eye tuna is a large, deep-sea predator, like swordfish and king mackerel. It lives long and feeds on smaller fish, accumulating dangerously high levels of mercury over time. In fact, according to the FDA, big eye tuna consistently ranks among the top 5 fish with the highest mercury content. So why is that a problem for people over 60? As we age, our body's ability to eliminate toxins, like mercury, slows down. That means mercury sticks around longer, silently building up in your brain, nervous system, and cardiovascular tissues. Studies have linked this buildup to memory loss, muscle weakness, tremors, and even an increased risk of Alzheimer's. And let's not forget the heart. Mercury inflames the lining of your arteries and interferes with blood pressure regulation, significantly increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes, already leading causes of death among seniors. One long-term study from the Journal of Gerontology found that seniors with high mercury exposure from fish had twice the rate of cognitive decline compared to those with low exposure, and much of that mercury came from tuna. Here's the kicker. Big eye tuna is commonly used in high-end sushi, grilled steaks, and premium tuna cuts in restaurants. It looks clean, it tastes clean, but inside, it's anything but. So if you're eating tuna, make sure you know what kind. Skip the big eye and opt for safer alternatives like skipjack or light canned tuna, which have far lower mercury levels. Because what seems healthy might be silently working against you. Why sardines are a secret weapon for seniors, and why you should start eating them now. If you're over 60 and want one simple, affordable food that supports your heart, brain, bones, and energy all at once, look no further than sardines. I know what you might be thinking. Sardines? Really? They're small, canned, and often overlooked. But don't let their size fool you. These tiny fish are nutritional giants. Sardines are loaded with EPA and DHA, 2 omega-3 fatty acids that your aging brain and cardiovascular system absolutely depend on. Unlike plant-based sources, the omega-3s in sardines come in a form your body can absorb and use right away, no conversion required. That means faster benefits for mental clarity, reduced inflammation, and better heart rhythm. But it doesn't stop there. Sardines are also packed with calcium and vitamin D, in fact, more calcium per serving than milk. That's crucial, especially since bone loss and fractures become more common with age. A study from Johns Hopkins found that seniors with adequate vitamin D and calcium intake had a 43% lower risk of hip fractures, a life-altering injury for older adults. And here's something most people don't know. Sardines are one of the richest natural sources of coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, a compound that fuels your heart's energy production. As we age, CoQ10 levels drop, which can lead to fatigue and even heart weakness. Eating sardines helps replenish those levels naturally. The best part? Sardines are inexpensive, shelf-stable, and require zero cooking skills. Pop open a can, add a squeeze of lemon, a drizzle of olive oil, and you've got a complete anti-aging meal in minutes. So if you're building a diet to stay strong, sharp, and independent, sardines should absolutely be on your plate. They may be small, but their impact is anything but. Why wild-caught salmon is a longevity superfood after 60. If there's one fish that deserves a permanent spot on your plate as you age, it's wild-caught salmon. Not just salmon, wild salmon. And the difference could be life-changing. Wild-caught salmon is rich in 2 things your body craves more than ever after 60: omega-3 fatty acids and astaxanthin, a powerhouse antioxidant. And not just any antioxidant. Astaxanthin is 6.000 times stronger than vitamin C and 800 times more potent than CoQ10 in neutralizing free radicals that age your cells. These compounds work together to reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and support your brain, heart, joints, and immune system. A 2023 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that seniors with higher blood levels of omega-3s, like those found in wild salmon, had a 47% lower risk of cognitive decline and a 39% lower risk of death from heart disease. But let's not stop there. Wild salmon is also an excellent source of clean, bioavailable protein, the kind that helps your muscles stay strong and your energy stay steady. That's critical, because after age 60, we begin to lose muscle mass in a process called sarcopenia, and the wrong type of protein, like from processed meats, can actually speed up that decline. By contrast, protein from wild salmon is anti-inflammatory, easy to digest, and supports healthy muscle retention. One 2024 study showed that older adults who included high-quality protein like wild salmon in their diets maintained 30% more muscle mass than those who didn't. And here's the best part, it tastes amazing. Grilled, baked, or tossed in a salad, wild-caught salmon delivers healing benefits in every bite. So the next time you're choosing fish, remember, not all salmon is created equal. Skip the farmed stuff and go wild, for your heart, your memory, your muscles, and your future. Why Atlantic mackerel might be the most overlooked superfish for seniors. When you hear the word mackerel, you might instantly worry about mercury. And rightly so, king mackerel is high on the danger list. But Atlantic mackerel is a completely different story. And for anyone over 60, it could be one of the smartest additions to your diet. Let's clear the confusion first. Atlantic mackerel is a smaller, short-lived fish that doesn't build up dangerous levels of mercury like its cousin, king mackerel. In fact, it ranks among the lowest mercury seafoods, making it a safe, clean choice for seniors. Now here's where it gets exciting. Atlantic mackerel is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, even more than salmon per ounce. These healthy fats are essential for brain function, heart health, and fighting inflammation, which becomes increasingly important as we age. But that's not all. This humble fish is also a rich source of selenium, a mineral that supports the immune system and acts as a powerful antioxidant. As we age, selenium levels often drop, weakening our body's ability to fight infections and oxidative stress. Atlantic mackerel helps fill that gap. The benefits are real and measurable. According to a 2023 study in the Journal of Aging Research, seniors who ate oily fish like Atlantic mackerel 3 times a week had 52% lower risk of stroke, 43% lower risk of dementia, and significantly stronger grip strength, a key marker of independence and longevity. In other words, this one simple food can protect your brain, your heart, and your muscle strength all at once. And here's the bonus, Atlantic mackerel is affordable, widely available, and easy to cook, grilled, pan-seared, or even canned. So if you've been unsure about mackerel, now you know, skip the king, choose the Atlantic, and give your body the daily tools it needs to stay strong, clear-headed, and resilient. Why herring might be the most powerful and underrated brain food after 60. If you're looking for a fish that supports your brain, your immune system, and your longevity, all without breaking the bank, herring might just be your secret weapon. Now, herring doesn't get much hype. It's not as trendy as salmon or as common as tuna. But what it lacks in popularity, it makes up for in powerful health benefits, especially for people over 60. Herring is exceptionally rich in DHA, the most critical omega-3 fatty acid for brain health. DHA literally builds the structural foundation of your brain cells. Without enough of it, neurons weaken, communication slows down, and memory begins to fade. But here's the good news. Eating herring just twice a week has been shown to reduce the risk of dementia by up to 63%. According to a major 2023 study in the Journal of Neurology. And that's just the beginning. Herring is also loaded with vitamin A and selenium, 2 nutrients that play vital roles in keeping your immune system strong and your inflammation levels low. Why does that matter? Because chronic inflammation is a key driver of not just cognitive decline, but also joint pain, heart disease, and visible signs of aging. In fact, seniors with higher selenium levels tend to heal faster, fight infections better, and age more slowly, both inside and out. What's more, herring is affordable, easy to find, and incredibly simple to prepare. You'll find it fresh, smoked, pickled, or canned. No fancy cooking skills required. Just open, season, and enjoy. So if you're serious about protecting your brain and staying independent well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, don't overlook herring. It may be humble, but it's one of the most potent tools for aging well that you can add to your plate today. Anchovies, the tiny fish with giant benefits for your brain, bones, and heart. Let's talk about one of the most underrated superfoods sitting quietly on your grocery store shelf: anchovies. These tiny, salty fish are often tossed on top of pizzas or mixed into Caesar dressing, but most people don't realize just how powerful they are for your health, especially after 60. In fact, anchovies are one of the most nutrient-dense fish you can eat, packing an extraordinary amount of omega-3s, calcium, selenium, and vitamin B12 into every bite. Let's break it down. Anchovies are rich in EPA and DHA, the essential omega-3 fats that help reduce inflammation, support heart rhythm, and protect your brain from cognitive decline. These compounds are especially important as we age, when the risk of heart disease, Alzheimer's, and stroke increases. But here's what really makes anchovies unique: they're also loaded with natural calcium. Thanks to their edible bones, just a small serving provides nearly 20% of your daily calcium needs, along with vitamin D and phosphorus, which help that calcium get absorbed and used to strengthen your bones. That's critical for preventing fractures, falls, and the slow, silent loss of mobility many people face later in life. Anchovies are also incredibly low in mercury. Because they're tiny, short-lived fish, they don't accumulate the heavy metals that larger predatory species do. That makes them one of the safest seafood options for older adults, even safer than most tuna or mackerel. Best of all, they're inexpensive, shelf-stable, and easy to work into your meals. Add them to pasta, salads, eggs, or just mash them into olive oil and garlic for a brain-boosting spread. So if you've been skipping anchovies because of their strong flavor, it might be time to give them another chance. They may be small, but when it comes to aging well, they deliver massive benefits. Final thoughts: the fish you choose today could shape the next 10 years of your life. Here's the bottom line: after 60, your food choices aren't just about flavor, they're about survival, strength, and independence. Choosing the right fish can sharpen your memory, protect your heart, reduce chronic inflammation, and even add healthy years to your life. But the wrong choices? They do the opposite, increasing your risk of dementia, cancer, stroke, and rapid aging, often without warning signs. You don't need a complicated plan. Just start with this. Cut out the dangerous fish, like swordfish, farmed salmon, king mackerel, and tilapia. Add in the healing ones: wild-caught salmon, sardines, Atlantic mackerel, and herring. These are nutrient-dense, low in toxins, and proven to support your brain, bones, and heart. Even one small change this week, swapping a risky fish for a nourishing one, can set you on a better path. And it doesn't just affect your numbers on a chart. It affects your energy, your clarity, your ability to stay active and independent. So here's what you can do right now. Leave a comment below: which fish are you eating now? And which one will you try next? Share this video with someone you care about. You never know who might need this information today. And don't forget to subscribe if you found this video helpful. We've got more science-backed tips coming every week to help you live better, longer, and stronger. Because the truth is, your next grocery decision isn't just about dinner, it's about the kind of life you want to live from here on out.